very bright outlook for my future after the Air Force. At least in my mind I did, based on what I was told.
Originally I was drafted. I got a draft notice in the mail just like everybody else does, you know. And I thought, well, I don't really want to go to the Army and do all that marching and all that stuff. So I started looking around to see which one of them would offer me the best job.
I was looking forward to a good job, a home, a car, a career, all of that good old American stuff. But I found myself unemployable and renting and living paycheck to paycheck from, you know, from unemployment to after I first got out to small, menial jobs.
I don't know how else to really put it. It didn't seem like it worked out that way when I came back from overseas, but
I wanted to go back into civilian life, but I wanted to continue flying. And reports start coming back to us. The fellows who had returned earlier told us, well, we tried all over the country to get jobs flying, and we couldn't get jobs flying. You're all for this country. Some of the fellows who went to combat with you weren't able to make it back, and you come back to this country and you can't get a job because of the color of your skin, doing what you could do best. That was major, major disappointment.
When I started looking at the numbers, how many veterans there actually really are, it was amazing, and I absolutely knew that the agencies in place for veterans weren't enough.
veterans do deserve some help for what they've done for their country, but a lot of agencies just won't help them. I mean, you know, they just drag their feet about helping them. It takes forever and a day to get anything done.
I don't see why it's necessary for a veteran to be forced to go to a veterans hospital when you pass 10 hospitals on your 30-mile trek to that hospital. I don't get that. I don't accept that, and I think that veterans should be welcomed in any medical facility in this country, living under the red, white, and blue and the freedom that was supported by the veterans. I've heard stories about the veterans hospitals. They were scary, and to sit in a veterans hospital and to see people sitting or lying on gurneys for hours, it took maybe 10 or 15 years for me to realize why they were sitting in the hallway so long. It was because there's so many veterans ahead of them that are in just as bad a shape or worse. And I always thought to myself, well, why couldn't they just go to a hospital? You serve this country, you honor this country, you put your life on a line, you're willing to die for this country, and you can't go into a hospital and be served because they're going to ask you for insurance. It's important to preserve the stories of veterans because non-veterans need to understand the commitment that goes in to protecting the freedom of this country. You know, when you take the oath to give your life, what's left after that? You know, if you have life after your service, what quality of life are you going to have? Who really respects you for what you've done? And I think that it's time that non-veterans kind of look around and find veterans and thank them just for their service. That goes a long way.
I saw a lot of it when I was in the service, you know. People would just, I don't know, just act like they didn't care a lot about people. And they should have. more than they did.
Freedom is everything, and I respect and I honor servicemen and women, especially today, because the times have changed, and with the conflicts going on now, the transition after that is very difficult.
There's 100 different reasons for somebody being homeless. You know, some of it's through financial reasons. Some people actually like to be homeless. You know, they can't stand the regular 9-to-5 grind, you know, so they want to just be by themselves, do what they want to do, rather than keep up with, you know, John Q. Public, you know. They just want to do their own thing.
The legacy of American GI is bridging the gap between civilians and former servicemen and women by increasing random acts of kindness. When you see or you hear of a veteran, simply go shake his hand, and just telling the serviceman or woman, thank you for your service, they understand what that meant, because their service is what this country survives on, because it's about the freedom of this country. And if you don't support the freedom, what else, what other direction will you turn to?